special guests, and we're going to be talking about a topic we talk about all the time, and that's making friends as an adult because it's hard. Mm-hmm. So introducing Kinley and Lauren from an organization that you guys have created called Gals Need Pals.
Yes.
So
hello.
I found you on Instagram randomly. It's probably because my algorithm was listening to us have a conversation about like Bumble BFF or something like that. And essentially that's kind of what you guys do. So Kinley, this was your baby.
Yes, this is my company. I started it in September of 2022. And I was actually a teacher. I just resigned from my position as a third grade teacher last week.
So congratulations.
To do it full time.
To
work on Gals Need Pals full time. So that's really exciting. But I moved to Spokane in, I always say, the heart of the plague, which was May of 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm not from Spokane. I'm actually not from the Northwest at all. I was born and raised in Texas.
Texas.
Love it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Where are you from?
I lived in College Station for a little bit, then San Antonio, and in Prosper, north of Dallas.
Very cool.
So, a little bit.
Yeah, my family, we were born and raised in Lubbock, and my dad is from Spokane, and my parents ended up moving to Lubbock before I was born because my dad took over our family business there.
That's awesome.
And when I graduated high school, I'm younger than my brother, my parents were like, we want to go back to Spokane or go back to the Northwest. My dad was really ready to go home. My mom is from Lubbock, so they had been in her hometown for 25 years, and he was really ready to go back to his part of the world. So they ended up moving to Coeur d'Alene in 2015, and I went to school. I went to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City, and by the end of college, I was like, I want to be close to my family, but I'm not really ready to be right in their backyard in Coeur d'Alene where there's very few people, especially during the winter. Mm-hmm. And so I moved to Spokane not knowing anyone. And when you're a teacher, your colleagues are predominantly older than you. So
it's that or children.
Yeah,
so you're
exactly. Like third graders or a 60-year-old. It's like, okay, where's my happy medium? I didn't have any. Yeah. So that's why I started Gals Need Pals, because I didn't know how to make friends as an adult. Yeah. I honestly potentially was going to move to Seattle because my cousins who are my age live here. And in 2021, I was like, guys, I'm so unhappy. It sucks here. I can't make friends. I don't know how to like mingle because as girls, it's so hard to like go out to a bar. And, well, first the plague we didn't have the bars open.
Right. The plague.
But after that, once it opened, I was like, what do you do? Like, I don't feel comfortable going and sitting at a bar by myself. I'm not that much of an extrovert. Mm-hmm. And then also when you do end up meeting people out in real life, how do you say like, oh, like, do you want to be my friend?
Yeah.
Like your little kids.
Yeah. Like little children have no issue with that. Like I saw that so much as a teacher. Like kids can just be like, hey, can you want to be my friend today? And they're like, yeah. Whereas when you get to this age of being an adult, we just have so many barriers. And so it's such a hard time asking people to be friends, especially when you're new to a city. And that's why we started Gals Need Pals. So it's easy to ask if you want to be friends.
You know that's what you're there for.
Yep.
But so how did you meet Lauren then? Were you guys already friends? Or was this hey, do you want to be friends and work on Gals Need Pals?
I am originally from Olympia, so I'm originally a Seattle area girly. So it's so cool to be back here. And I'm like, wow, I like grew up with all of this. And now my business is here. But I ended up going to college at Gonzaga, got a little bit of a footing in Spokane, but I was that lovely class of 2020 in college, and the plague happened like 6 weeks before I graduated. So I ended up moving back to Western Washington for a bit and ultimately landed in Spokane once again in October of 2022. And literally the week that I moved, this Gals Need Pals page starts following me on Instagram because I am a content creator influencer by trade, so very used to social media. And I was like, wait, this is so cool. So I ended up meeting them like the week later, got drinks and stuff, and just started going to the events. And as someone who's home by herself all the time, just literally talking to a camera, no friends in sight, I was like, wait, this is so genius to like get out in the community, meet people, mingle. And so after a couple of months of going, I ended up asking them like, hey, how can I get involved? How can I help? And the original co-creator ended up stepping down to start her family, and Kinley's like, Lauren, do you want to help out with like everything? And I was like, let's rock and roll. And so we've just kind of taken the brand by storm and just let it explode into what it is today.
I just love that that we can all acknowledge that there's such a need for this.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody in this room, I mean, Victoria is a transplant. Ashley moved away for college. I've moved away and lived in cities where I didn't know anybody multiple times. And it's always that, what do you say?
Yeah.
Even when you know that you're going to a place to make friends, like when you're watching people interact for the first time, what does that look like to you? Well, think about when you did it, Kinley. You're like, okay, welcome to my event.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I was going to actually ask you, though, because before you start talking about your first event, like you said, you were in Spokane, you knew no one, and you started thinking about this, Gals Need Pals. But how did you go from thinking about that to doing that?
Yeah. So I was a Catholic school teacher, and in 2021, my colleagues were like, hey, there's a Catholic women's group. It's for young women to meet. You should go. And I was like, I'll take any opportunity to meet someone outside of this school. And so I went, and I ended up meeting one of my really good friends. Her name is Mallory, and she's the one that started Gals Need Pals with me. As Lauren said, she stepped down because she had a baby. And so she was focusing on that, and she had just gotten married, and it was, starting a whole company from scratch is very difficult. And so she stepped down, but it was literally, we went, this is actually how I ended up meeting my fiance, but we were at a bar, and we were walking past a girl and her boyfriend and a group of people, and Katie just kept saying, hey, I like your boots, as I walked by. Hey, I like your shirt, as I walked, because anytime I walked by, it was like some type of compliment, and we didn't know how to say like, hey, like stop, and like, hey, my name's Kinley, like I'd love to be friends,
Yeah.
And so it was actually funny. We ended up walking out, and one of the people that we were with knew her from college. So one of our guy friends, it was actually Mallory's husband's friend, knew her from college, and they were like, oh, do you want to hang out tonight? And just like go out together? And we were like, yeah, sure. And I ended up meeting Katie that night, who introduced me to my now fiance, which is
funny.
Kind of a fun story. But after that night, Mallory and I were like, we're always the one planning girls' nights anyways, because we ended up, getting her phone number and stuff, and we were the ones to text and be like, hey, like, let's get dinner and drinks or something. And we were like, why don't we just start a community for people like us? Because that was such a weird instance, and it was kind of coincidental that it worked out. But in reality, that doesn't typically happen. You just end up leaving the bar without ever saying anything to that person. And we were like, why don't we just try to create something in Spokane?
Okay.
And it was literally just like, I pitched it to my parents and my older brother, who are both, entrepreneurs. And they were like, it's genius. We think it's an incredible idea. And I was like, okay, I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to just start posting on Instagram, from Pinterest, just aesthetic pink pictures. And I had this thought in my brain of, we've all experienced the most friendly a woman can be is drunk in a bar bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, like your best friend.
Yeah. So you become best friends with those people in the bathroom. So my motto, which I put in the bio, was taking the bar bathroom banter to the real world.
I love that.
And
That's awesome.
Huge.
so that we can make friends outside of the bar
And at least outside of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Well, it just also helps keep you accountable. The amount of numbers that I have in my phone right now from girls that I met in the bathroom. I just remember when I moved to Chicago, I just would always get hammered with a couple of my coworkers, but I needed to make friends that were my age because my coworkers were significantly younger. So I'd meet them in the bathroom. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't have any friends. I just moved here. Do you want to hang out? And then I just would never talk to them.
Yeah.
Because you didn't even remember their number, and then you're like, or their name, I mean. So then you'd see it, and you're like, now which bathroom was that?
I just I felt so dumb. Like the next day I was like, was I really begging this random girl to be my friend in the bathroom? Like
the answer was yes.
was. Yeah. And then I was the radio girl at the time too. So that just even makes it more awkward. They're like, what is this loser doing?
Well,
So-
now all those losers that feel that way come to a Gals Need Pals event, and they're
Yeah.
not losers.
No.
And they just want to make friends, and everyone there feels very comfortable. And there's very few instances where we're like, we have to go save the day and make, be like, hey, like, how can we help you kind of intermix? But it just authentically works.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to explain it.
I think that women, people, crave community. And I think everybody needs that interpersonal communication and that, type of support system. And so if you don't have it, to have that available to you, knowing that everybody's goal is exactly the same, that's pretty awesome. So how do you have a membership, or how does it work? Do people just show up?
So we do ticket sales for everyone just to kind of hold people accountable and make sure that they're going to show up.
Yeah, we realized about not even a year ago, probably 6 months ago.
Something like that.
Well, it was in January, so it was not
Yeah.
that long ago.
can't keep up.
We realized, the days go by. We realized that we had a pretty good group of women that were coming to every single event.
Aw.
And
That's cool.
yeah, super awesome. And we have ended up becoming really good friends with them, these people that have been coming to all of our events. And the community that it creates is truly magnificent to me, because they will text us and be like, how can we help you? How can, we had a speed dating event. They are both engaged or married.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Can we come? Can we come help?" Like because
so cool.
because like we can't participate, we can't go to
Yeah.
the event because we or we're already dating someone or we're already married.
Okay, stop bragging.
Yeah, and that's
You're like,
that's
make
what they-
sure when you come to the speed dating event, you tell everyone why you're not participating.
Yeah.
They will love it.
No, they were just there to help sign people in, and it ended up that, of course, a few men came in, got scared, walked out, and didn't show up for the event.
What?
Yeah, for a thing that is literally 25 women, 25 men.
Yeah.
It had to be perfect.
Yeah.
So it ended up perfectly that the 3 people that are amazing members of Gals Need Pals,
We call our
Step-
frequent flyers.
our frequent flyers, they stepped in on those seats and gave those girls kind of like a break and just to chat with another girl and just have like
Oh, that's cool.
a
Yeah.
moment. But that's what they are incredible. And we realized then that we had to do some type of membership deal so that they could get discount on tickets. They get the first round of tickets because our tickets have been selling out really quickly.
Great.
So
That's
they
awesome.
get tickets first and then merch and then a free event.
What other kinds of events do you do? You said a speed dating one, but like what events are you guys planning typically?
A bit of everything. So I like to describe my life as that meme of the guy with his giant whiteboard. He's got all those pictures, the red line, trying to connect
Yeah, yeah.
everything. And our goal
It's not
is
from like Grown
to,
Ups. No,
hmm,
Boss.
I have no idea.
Whatever that
I'm
movie.
just online too much. I can't keep up. But I'm always trying to kind of keep an eye out on different events. We're always asking the girls, oh, what are things you want to do? And one of our big goals is to not do the same thing twice, more or less. I mean, we'll do like different workout classes. We'll do the speed dating once or twice a year. We'll do like art classes together. We did like a photo shoot thing. I mean, we really just try to mix it up, keep people on their toes. And it also brings in just a fresh set of women each time alongside our frequent flyers, because it's like, oh, I have an interest in this. Let me meet women that also like that. Whereas a different kind of event will attract a different kind of crowd. So it's been really cool to see what works, what people are most drawn to and everything. And it's good for Kinley and I too, because we get to try different things that we normally wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there are other groups similar to, Gals Need Pals out there, but they're always very specific about what they do, like ladies who brunch. Which
I'd be really good at that.
yeah. It's so
You'd
great.
kill it.
But
Yeah.
it would get kind of monotonous, is that the word?
Yeah.
Where it's just the same thing every single time.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this gives you the opportunity to try new things. If you're new to the city,
Yeah.
you get to try new things. Like we have done our charcuterie making class where we've had,
cute.
we burned like quotes into the charcuterie
cool.
board
Oh wow.
and learned how to create, the little salami roses
Yeah.
and stuff. We had that. We've had speed dating. We're going to have actually a friendship speed dating where we're going to just have all the girls. Because we actually were asked to do that, and they were like, we just want to meet as many people as possible. And we're like, great, speed dating for the girls.
Love it.
And then we do a Halloween party every year because that's our birthday. Like our Gals Need Pals birthday was in October. And that one I have such fond memories of because and I feel special about because I feel like I love Halloween, but Halloween can be scary as a single woman. Like if you are going out with just the girls, like I wouldn't recommend it for, especially with, what's happening in our society and things. It's just scary. And so it's just the girls on a Halloween party, and we had a blast.
So then you don't feel like you have to dress up as like the trashy nurse in order to get anyone's attention.
Right. You don't accidentally make out with somebody who doesn't look as cute with the sunglasses on when they're dressed up like Top Gun, because that has happened many a time.
Nina, it's the same guy every year. He's wearing the same costume.
And it gets me every time. But that is really special. And you were talking about how there's other organizations and how you guys stand out. But where are you guys doing all of this? Because I know you started it in Spokane, and then you're branching out now.
Yes.
Look at your big cheese. Kinley's like, that's right.
Expanding
her empire.
So our first event is July 27th here in Seattle, and it'll be at Rapport Wine Bar, which I have fond memories visiting when I was living in Tacoma for a bit.
Where's Rapport
And
One?
It's over in Capitol Hill. It's like a little wine bar, kind of tucked away. So
you know
I think it's self-serve.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Self-serve wine, I think, is.
They don't know what hit them if I show up. Self-serve wine.
Oh, yeah. It's
My mom would feel the same way.
Yeah.
Be like, yes.
Yeah.
You need to do a party at Ashley's house. She lives on a golf course.
Oh, okay, perfect.
So just offer up my house. That's fine. We
I'm
can have an
sorry.
event there. That's fine.
Yeah, we're Gals Need Pals at your house.
Yeah, perfect.
We're hosting the next one.
Okay.
Or a
done and
golfing
done.
event,
Yeah, that would be fun.
But
We're
we
down
do
for
want to
anything.
do like things with sporting events and stuff like that. So that's on our docket, hopefully.
When
That's
you guys
awesome.
when you guys go out and to like maybe you go to like a Mariners game, let's say, are you all wearing your Gals Need Pals shirts, or is it like
Just kind of wear whatever you want. We'll do some events that are kind of more dress coded. We did a prom last month, which was probably one of the coolest events we've done to date. And that one was one of our like first co-ed experiences, because usually just the girls, and we try to keep that for the majority. But every once in a blue moon, you want to bring your partner or something, or just have like a big group. And that one we were like, okay, dress up and like wear something kind of prom inspired or whatever. And we put that out thinking, okay, maybe they'll just like put on a cute dress or something. But like the girls showed up and showed out. We had girls in like these gorgeous sparkling dresses.
Corsages.
Oh my gosh,
People
that's
came
awesome.
in literally limousines.
What?
Like
That's
people
so
said
fun.
that they didn't experience their prom, and this was kind of their second chance, and they got to.
Aw.
I was like, wait.
That's
actually so
It's so
So
cute.
sweet.
It was
How
so
many
cute.
people do you have at most of your events? You said the speed dating obviously limited to 25, but like, are these events big, or are they all different sizes depending on what you're
all
doing?
different sizes. So in Spokane, we do some mini events, which are up to about 15 people, because girls sometimes want something more intimate, so they can talk to people, have those more one-on-one connections. And then we have events up to over 100 people, which would have been the prom. So it just kind of depends on the venue, what the vibe is, what we're trying to do. Changes each time with all the events.
Yeah, the Rapport one's 50 women, and we've already sold a
Over
majority
30
of the
tickets.
ticket.
And it's
Wow,
so
that's
cool.
awesome.
It's in
where are
July
people
27th.
buying tickets?
On Eventbrite through our Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
Yeah, our website. Yeah,
It's
it's
a lot to put together.
yeah.
But that's like amazing. But
Yeah.
oh my god.
That's why it's her full-time job now.
I
Yes.
know, but that's like I'm just like, and you were a teacher doing that? Like
Yeah, that was a challenge. But, I will forever be grateful for my time as a teacher, because it helped me become very organized, and I'm very career, oriented, and it made me have the drive I have today, because teaching is really, really hard, and it
Yeah, I
is
bet.
constant work. It's people think that it's not that difficult, but you are on for 8 hours.
I think
straight.
anyone who thinks it's not difficult is an idiot.
Ashley's a mom, so
Yeah.
she's got one
I
with
had,
her
to,
all
I had to
time.
teach my kid during COVID, and I wanted to pull my hair out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, but when I told the kids that I was leaving, it was I taught third grade, and they were the sweetest little angels about it. They were just like, Miss Schmidt, we're really sad that you're leaving, but we're really happy for you.
Aww.
And I not even kidding, that's what they said on the rug. I was like, okay, thanks. And then the last day I had kids from my very first 3rd grade class.
Oh my gosh.
And they're going to be in 7th grade, I think, 7th or 8th grade now. And they came up and they gave me a card and they were like, from your first 3rd grade class.
Aww.
And
Cute.
they cried. And I was like, I'm never going to teach you again. I was never going to teach you again after this, but why are you making me cry now? Like, okay.
Well, now that's a lot of pressure. You better make them proud.
No, exactly. No, it is. Now I'm like, okay, I'm really dedicated to this. Gotta be successful.
Well, you're still teaching. You're just teaching a bunch of women how to be empowered and make friends, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
What would you say your success rate is? Like if you, not just the events, because the events clearly go really well, but when you think about the true connections that are made, like people hanging out with the people that they've met at your events without you guys, or, you know?
Yeah.
Does that happen a lot?
I couldn't put an exact number on it, but I'm always at the end kind of seeing, oh, our girls like exchanging numbers, Instagrams, and I'm there with my camera just kind of recording that on the side because I'm like, this is genius. But we've had some incredible success stories. We have one gal that is inviting a Gals Need Pals friend to be her bridesmaid already for her wedding next year.
Wow.
We have one set of friends that are now on a bowling league. They do quilting together. And then the coolest part is that all of the girls get together and then eventually they'll go out, they'll bring their boyfriends, so then all the boyfriends become friends with each other.
Oh,
and so it's just been this really cool ripple effect to watch all of these connections and friendships develop because they both decided to come to one of our events. And
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up the boyfriends becoming friends because I don't know if you've had conversations with guys, but they're like, man, it's just, I want to make some guy friends too. I just want a community. And of course they won't do it themselves. There's going to be no guys need pals. So, I mean, it's kind of great that you're doing it for everybody.
I would call it bros need bros.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bros need bros.
Yeah,
Bros need bros.
we always call it the bros
Or
need
dudes need
dudes.
bros or
Yeah,
something.
dudes need bros.
Yeah.
That's way better, yeah.
Yeah, my fiance always, all of his friends are always like, you gonna make a branch for us? I was like, no.
No. Sorry, buddy.
It's
That's
like,
not
it's for the girls only, thanks.
absolutely.
What's
But-
been the biggest challenge that you guys have faced in all of this?
I think the hardest thing is, we started in a small town, and Spokane is very small town oriented. So it's been hard for we're trying to work with businesses. We're trying to get sponsorships. We have to fund this. It's been funded currently from my teacher salary, so
I get that.
not great.
I get that.
But we reach out quite a bit to businesses in Spokane, and I think Spokane is just so small town, situated that they are not buying in. But now that we've approached the Seattle scene, Seattle is buying in. Like they get it. They understand the concept, and they're like, it's awesome. We want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
So I think that's been our number one challenge is getting into the businesses in Spokane and explaining why it's a need. And they think it's a good idea, but they don't want to, do anything about
Right.
it. If
They're
that
just like,
makes
well,
sense.
good for you.
Yeah,
Have a
yeah.
great day.
Yeah.
Pretty
So
much.
kind of, is it like old school, like
Like
boys
the
Boys club?
boys
type
club
thing.
kind of thing? Yeah.
Well, that makes that sense too, though. There's more transplants in Seattle
Yes.
also.
Yes. And Spokane is getting,
Becoming a transplant city,
yeah.
that's why we have so many girls that are coming, but they're like working from home, and so I think it'll take them a little bit longer to realize, oh, girls and new people aren't going anywhere. We should probably do something about it because it's going to help the city overall. But yeah, definitely trying to break into a market where it's been kind of set for decades is definitely a bit of a challenge for sure.
definitely a who you know, not what you know situation.
Yeah.
I get that.
I feel like I've never experienced needing to try to find friends more than when I moved to Seattle because I was like, this city, I swear, it gets dark here and everyone goes into their little cubbies, they hide. And it's the rain comes and it just gets it's not sunny and pretty and whatever, so everyone hides. And I'm like, yeah, man, I'll hide too, but I don't want to hide for 9 months. And so I'm like, what do I do? Who do I go meet? And thankfully, when I moved here, I had a roommate. And I met my friends all through her. But if I wouldn't, those few months I lived here without her, I knew no one.
How did you meet her again? Craigslist?
Facebook.
Oh.
It's
Craigslist.
the same thing.
I didn't remember.
Facebook.
Yeah. But it was just It's crazy how much I even see like on TikTok. Like people are like, I need friends like in Seattle. Like I've never seen that so big except for like here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, holy cow, like no one, because like you don't know how to meet people. And it's like,
I mean,
Seattle freeze is real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting. I feel like it is true in other cities too. It's been really difficult. Like Atlanta was really tough too. But I think that it's interesting that you bring up that the weather and the time and all that stuff. Like it's not just, it's like friend making season. You know, hot girl summer. It's like it's hot girl summer. We out here. Yeah, hot girl time. Screw cuffing season.
Yeah, no, it is. That's so true. I feel like that I am the same way. Like I feel like when it starts to get dark at 4 p.m. in the winter, I'm like, all right, peace out. I'm gonna go hermit in my little house, my dog, you know, like not gonna go out. And it is really hard to branch out. And I think that's why these events work, because it's not like an every weekend situation. You're not forced to leave the house every single day. It's, you know, once a month, you commit a month in advance. You're like, all right, like I can do that. I can put myself out there once or twice a month to find friends. And I think that has been really successful.
Oh, for sure.
What would you say to somebody that's kind of scared, like wants to make friends, but, you know, we all seem to be kind of outgoing, but it's kind of nerve-wracking a lot of the time.
I was very nervous when I first started going to them. And I mean, even when I was a leader at first, I was just hiding behind my camera. I was like, okay, I'll watch like these relationships happen. But we decided to do like little question cards, almost like if you are speed dating, and we'll put them out while the girls are sitting or mingling or whatever. So then they have something that they can kind of talk off of. And I noticed that helps a lot. And then we'll get like DMs or comments, and we're like, hey, we're Lauren and Kinley. Like, we'll be your first friends. We'll talk to you like on social media. And I think with, I don't know for my generation overall, but I feel like we're so used to talking like on Instagram and social media and TikTok, and start off with just like a little DM back and forth. So then when you do go out into the real world and meet, and you're like, oh, we got a little rapport going on. It's not going to be too difficult to actually make those connections. But Kinley's also really good about just going around, talking, working the room, finding girls that maybe are not like outcasts per se, but just having a harder time to like talk and break into the group or whatever. And so I think that helps a lot too. And we always remind girls, like, so many of you are coming by yourself. Like, we don't know each other. Just talk. Like,
I think
something.
Because everyone there is there for the same reason.
Yeah.
You know, we're all there to make friends, not like you're coming just to come.
Yeah.
And so that makes it more comfortable for women. But also, I really do think that the community that we are bringing into these events are exceptional women.
Oh, yeah.
They are truly some of the kindest, most just authentic, and just such sweet women that it's not coming in like with judgment. There's no judgment at these events. I have been like flabbergasted by that. I never see anyone like kind of, you know, because as a woman, we have had that experience. We have had that experience with another woman where you are like, wow, like that person is like really intimidating, or that person's really definitely judging me from afar, right? Or that mean girl that we all experienced in high school. That is not present at a Gals Need Pals event. It is truly just women really wanting to meet other women, and I think that makes people feel comfortable when they get there, because they can come in nervous, and we always say, totally understand if you come in nervous.
Yeah.
It is nerve-wracking, but I am always around to, you know, go around and make sure that you're okay. I'm the floater, I always say, of the event. I'm never sitting down and, you know, just having a conversation with one person, or I'm only talking to Lauren. Like, I am constantly roaming the room to make sure that you are okay. And in that instance, I always been like, oh, like, you know, so-and-so really likes that as well. Like, how about you guys chat? And it ends up working out. Yeah. I also everyone's like, oh, do you have like icebreakers or, you know, like name tags and stuff? And I'm like, no. I was like, it just feels very cringe to me and very forced. If you're like, okay, we're going to play an icebreaker game now. We just let it happen like organically, and it works.
I was going to be like, you want to try it on Victoria?
God,
She's
no.
always like, I'm so awkward when I meet new people.
I am. I was thinking about that. Like, y'all seem like such sweet people, like nice people, but like, I just think of like me going into an event like that. I'm just like an awkward person in general, and then it's just like I get very nervous, very nerve wracking. So the fact that y'all like will talk to people prior, like on Instagram, like if they are nervous, and then the minute they walk in, like no one will be standing like alone in the corner. Like I don't know if anyone else like has that like fear.
Oh yeah.
But like we've all kind of been there, like standing alone in the corner and like you hate it. But then like you have like a nice person like come and like say like, hey, like what's up? And you're like, oh yay, I'm saved. Like that's just so sweet.
Yeah. Oh, I
like your little
so
life
nice.
rafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you guys realize we're both not like
super
extroverted. Like,
people, like
it may seem like that, but we really are not. I remember in college, I had my group of friends. It was my trio. It was me, my best friend, and my other best friend, and we did everything together. It was, we wouldn't go to a single place without each other. And I remember one time we went to a party, and they both like went somewhere at the party, and I'm not kidding. I stood in the middle of the room like this.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And I went to college with all these people at this party for 4+ years, and I'm like, no, this is not it.
Oh,
like
crap, oh, crap.
Yeah, I'm like, help! Someone help me! I need help. So that is truly like we're not like the most outgoing people in the world, but I try my best at these events to be that person for everyone else. But trust me, I've been in that situation where you're like standing in the corner like, oh,
Like, where'd everyone go? What do I do? Which one to go?
yeah. I'm like, do
That
I
still
leave?
Yeah.
No, that'd be weird. Or okay, so
Like, okay, we'll just stand here. Never mind.
yeah.
Get out your phone, just start. Like,
Yes.
I was gonna say candy munching, but what's that game?
What's
Crushing.
Candy Crush?
Crushing.
Yikes! What
Bro,
was that?
Always with the munching. Always. There was a song that you brought up that was from a few episodes ago. But what I was
About
going to say,
munching already?
Ashley, was how did you make friends when you got to college?
I mean, that's what I was gonna say is I've never actually had to experience this because I grew up here. I went to college and you're paired with a roommate. So it was like, okay, I've got a built-in friend. And then I ended up at college with 3 guys that I went to high school with. So I knew them. And then
That's nice.
you just, you're obviously living across the hall from 2 people. So there you go. And then down the hall from
Yeah.
20 other people. And then on the other floor, so it was like, okay, there you already have it. And plus I swam and played water polo. So now I have my teammates.
The built-in.
Then I got to SC and I had 7 roommates.
You had 7 roommates?
Yeah, because we lived in like a suite. So you had 4 bedrooms. So there's 7 people I knew right away. And then there's 3 of those on the floor. So, it just immediately. And I had teammates again. So it was like you automatically. Then the only time I kind of, I guess, had a similar situation was I got hurt and couldn't play water polo anymore. And then I was like, well, now what do I do? Because I only know athletes. And now I have like nothing in common with all these other people. And so a couple of water polo players, ex-water polo players had been in a sorority, so they had me come and like, I guess it was an informal rush at their sorority. So then I met that,
cool.
I joined that, and then I met all those people, and then you already do events with them, and then I moved back home, and I knew everybody that
Right.
I'd already grown up with. So I've never had that problem.
But that's actually a really good point. Like the point of where it's like you stop playing water polo. Like even though I'm from here and I went to school and college and I have a bunch of friends here, but they're all married with children.
Right.
So then there's that thing where it's like you want to find new people that you can spend time with that are at the same, similar life place.
Points?
Yes.
Places
Yeah,
important.
same place in life
Eras?
as you are, that you can experience different things. Like I love everybody, everything's great, but sometimes you need that. And I think acknowledging that and knowing that it's okay to feel like your needs aren't being met even by the people you've been friends with your whole life.
Yes.
And that evolution of where you're at and acknowledging that you need to be fed for where you are. You know what I mean? It's not just new city. It's life changes. We all evolve. And it's really nice to have other people that get that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I mean-
I actually always say that is like, it doesn't necessarily matter the age that you are. It matters the stage of life you're at. And we always get asked like, like I'm 45. Like, am I allowed to come? I'm like, you can more than welcome. As long as you're older than 21, you are more than welcome to come just because liability and drinking.
Yeah.
But other than that, like we're like, please, because in the end, after you get out of college or you're out of school or whatever and you're in the workforce, no one cares about your age. You're all the same age in our minds, because if you're in the same stage of life as them, then you're the same age. And that's why I always said that, because I remember going to Spokane and meeting Mallory, who I loved, but she was engaged and she was about to be married, and then she just had a baby. And I was like, I am like 24 and so single. And I was like, I love you, but we are not in the same stage of life. Like, I'm still wanting to go out and, drink a lot. And then go back home, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that's what is really hard about growing up and becoming an adult, is you have to figure out where you fit, because everyone's in a different stage of life.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how old you are. You could be 35 and still at the same stage of life as the 24-year-old. So,
I mean, shoot, I hang out with Victoria all the time.
Hey,
Yeah, 24-year-old.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I feel like, I don't know if that's why I hate small talk, and I have a really hard time if I'm like, you talked about being at that party by yourself.
Yeah.
And that would be me. I'd be like, well, now what? Yeah. Like, crap. I'm like, I'd feel like stuck. But I also feel stuck if I'm in a situation where it's like, oh, let's go to this event and we're going to talk with somebody that I'm maybe never going to see again. And then I get really nervous, and all I think of is like, do they know that I'm trying to think of the next thing to ask them?
Yeah.
And so I'm just really uncomfortable with small talk. And so I wonder if part of that, though, is because I never had to go really just
and do that.
meet people like out of the blue.
I think about too, like with radio, and maybe you can relate to this though, Ash. I think that taking the pressure off too, let's say you go to the event, you don't have to find a best friend.
Right.
No.
You're just enjoying a moment. And I always say that anytime you meet somebody and you have a conversation, whether you see them again, speak to them, never, it doesn't matter. There's always something to gain from that conversation, whether it's a feeling or knowledge or they made you laugh. I mean, whatever it is. So, you never having to do that, but you do that a lot with the people that we meet in radio, our listeners, when we're out at events and stuff. You may never see them again, but every interaction is always so special.
But I think that's different too, because it's like work versus
I guess I kind of,
or
but
at
I
least
always,
in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just think about it as an opportunity to meet somebody new that I wouldn't have otherwise.
Right.
So
No, I'm just saying
Good
I
way
think
of
it's
looking at
different
it.
because I don't get as because I have a reason to be there, if that makes sense.
right, but then you still would in a different
I
scenario
know, but
without the pressure.
but
But
I'm
you'd
also-
be putting pressure on yourself.
But I'm also the person that literally thinks I have to introduce myself to people I've met like 75 times because I don't think they'll remember me.
right,
So-
right.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Like, we've all had that experience where the person you have met 100 times and they're still like, what's your name? You're like,
Okay.
it's still Kinley.
Yeah.
that at that moment, the
Same
energy
as it
is
was
not
last
needed.
week,
Yeah. You're like, it's
Literally.
still the same.
Yeah.
Or change it, play that game.
Yeah.
You know.
That'd be kinda
That's
fun.
actually a really good idea. Just give a different name every time.
Every
People
single
don't remember you.
See which one they remember.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is me.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, Kinley, where do you see this going?
We would love to expand to other cities. We would like to start in the Northwest. Obviously, we are expanding to Seattle. We have potential and would love to open a branch in Portland, Boise, and then we kind of just would like to see it everywhere because it's a need everywhere. We get messages from New York, we get messages from Kentucky, we get messages from kind of everywhere in the U.S., and we've gotten messages from
International. From,
International.
Like,
Oh,
England.
wow.
That's amazing.
Girls trip.
Yeah.
Girls trip. So we would love to see it expand. We think it's not just for ourselves, but we just truly believe it's a need everywhere.
Yeah.
And we want to help as many women as we possibly can. My origin story is being a teacher, and being a teacher is the purpose of being a teacher is not for the money. Was always to help the youth. And that's how I feel about Gals Need Pals. I just want to help. And I don't know if that will ever transpire, but it would be really cool.
It
if
already
did.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it already is. So
But I think it could also definitely be like
easily.
I see it easily like growing because I see on TikTok so many videos of people like, hey, like I'm doing a meetup here. So like literally having an actual organization people know to go to and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm moving here. Gals Need Pals is here. Perfect. Like that's
Yes.
Yeah.
rather than having to let me scroll on TikTok for 20 hours. to see
Yes,
if
if anyone's going to be around.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of easy. It's a lot easier, I think, than swiping. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
I did the Bumble BFF thing, and it's hard because it's the same game. You're swiping. You're like, I don't know, are we going to like each other? And then you have the small talk and
But then
just
you
get
don't
in a room and be in an event because at
Yeah.
least that's not a waste of time.
Because swiping, you really, I mean, in the end, you're judging a book by its
Yeah.
cover.
Totally.
And
Absolutely.
from my experiences at Gals Need Pals, I realized how much we do that, where we judge a book by its cover. And some of the people I feel closest to at Gals Need Pals and have the sweetest, kindest heart are people I probably wouldn't have seen myself being friends with if I had been swiping on Bumble BFF. And to me, that is like, it's sad that we still do that because, you know, we grew up with our parents telling us not to judge a book by its cover our entire lives. We've been told that. And yet we still do it, you know, on our own. And that's why I do think that Gals Need Pals is so awesome because it does kind of take that away because you're just truly meeting someone for who they are. It doesn't matter what they look like, so you're all there. And that's just really cool, I think.
It is. Absolutely. Well, before we wrap this up, hit all the places to find you guys.
Oh, yeah. So we are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Gals Need Pals. We have our website, which is www.galsneedpals.com. And we have other platforms coming
LinkedIn.
soon.
LinkedIn, if you guys want to work with us,
yeah.
if you're a business.
awesome.
Kinley
Oh,
Schmidt.
awesome.
And
Gals
Laurel
Need Pals.
Ferguson.
That's good. No, actually, that's really
Yeah.
and so helpful.
Yes, we're always looking for sponsors or anyone that wants to work with us.
Team up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if newer businesses have an idea for an event, that's a
Yeah.
great idea for them to reach out to you guys.
Yeah, for sure. And we always try to do something kind of fun at an event, like a raffle, or we have vendors come to our events a lot of the time, like permanent jewelry, or we have actually like an artist coming and selling cards at our event tomorrow. And we are always looking for
I own a
for
skincare
vendors.
company. I mean, we could
Yeah.
totally do
Okay.
that.
Amazing. But we always look for businesses to work with to raffle items off at. You know, we are doing a little basket for our one in Seattle, and we have had a lot of response, which is
Yeah, we
great.
have a
But
ton of stuff.
That's where
Always
you should
looking
put
for
it. You should
I'll
throw
give you
in
a bottle.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I'll totally give you a bottle.
Amazing.
No problem.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, so fun. I mean, maybe there's something else to do too with Classy Chaos
Yeah.
Live. That would be really fun.
Oh,
That would be
really
fun.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
that would be
Cool.
Also
awesome.
in the fall.
Yeah.
So, yay, Kinley, Lauren, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
This
you.
was really fun. Taking those bathroom conversations out into the streets.
Yes.
Not sure where you were going with that at first. I was like, oh, wait, what? But in the meantime, you know what to do. Stay chaotic.
But keep it classy.
It was like the best you guys have ever done it.
Right? That's what I think so too.
Oh, thanks, guys.